Today what we're going to do is we're going to look at the volume of a figure. Now, in the past, we looked at surface area. The surface area of a figure, like we had mentioned before, is wrapping a present. It's the gift wrap that you put on the outside of the present. Volume is not the outside, it's the inside. It's the space that occupies the figure. To find the volume of a prism or a cylinder is the topic for today. And how we're going to do that is we're going to use the formula big V equals big B little h. The big B is the volume of the base of the figure. And when we use this formula, make sure that you use a capitalized B when using it. Don't use the lowercase b. Note that if you take a right prism or right cylinder and make it oblique, meaning you have it so that it's leaning to the side, the volumes will be the same. So it doesn't matter if it's going to be a right prism or an oblique prism, a right cylinder or an oblique cylinder, we're going to use the same formula. Let's go ahead and let's take a look at our first figure. Okay, this is a square prism or a rectangular prism, depends on how you want to name it. And we're going to round to the nearest hundredth and use the pi key if we need it. So again, our formula that we chose is big V equals big B little h. So we're going to follow this like a recipe very similar to surface area. Big V equals, now I need to find the area of the base. And so if I look at the base of this figure, I'm going to call this the base. And the reason why I am is you're going to notice that there are two of them. And then I would have like 4 around the middle. So that would be like the lateral area. So when I'm looking at the area of the base, I'm going to come off to the side and I'm going to go big B equals little b times h, because remember that's how I find the area of the base. Big B equals, okay, one of my dimensions is 4. The other one is 4. Again, I'm not going to use a dot because it could be looked at as 4.4. So the area of my base ends up giving me 16. Okay, I'm going to take this and I'm just going to move it down here to make it a little bit easier for us. I'm also going to take this and just move it over a little bit. All right, so I'm going to take this, since this is the area of my base, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put that in. And then the height of this rectangular prism is right here. It'd be this 9. So I'm going to go ahead and put 9 in. The volume then equals, you'd use your calculators. I would take 16 times 9 and I'd end up with 144 inches. And then I'm going to put a little 3 up above it. And what that means is the volume. So you'll notice with area or surface area, the 3 would be a 2. But because I'm finding volume, it's going to be inches cubed, and that would be my exponent. Let's go ahead and let's go down and let's take a look at number 2. Again, I'm going to use the same equation. Big V equals the area of the base times the height of the figure. Now, this shape is called a triangular prism. If I take a look at the base, okay, because I say triangular prism, the base of this figure is going to be a triangle. So I'm going to go off to the side. The area of the base is 1/2 base times height. The area of the base is 1/2. Now I'm looking at the base of that triangle. The base of the triangle is going to be my 10. And it's very nice and very convenient because the height they gave me, and that is 8. So I'm going to take 8. Sometimes they give it to you, sometimes they don't. So it kind of depends on the shape. My area of my base then would end up giving me 40. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow that. I'm going to come through here. I'm going to write 40. The height of my figure is 6. The volume then is the product of 40 times 6, so I end up with 240, and this will be centimeters cubed. Okay, Notice how I go off to the side and I find the area of my base. That's really important to do. Now I know that the first two figures are kind of easy. This gradually gets more and more difficult as we work through these problems. All right, let's take a look at number 3. Okay, again, I'm going to grab that formula. Big V equals the area of my base times my height. Okay, big V, which is the volume, the area of my base. Okay, I'm going to look at my base. My base is a circle, which is this right here. There's my base. Okay, the formula for the base when it's a circle is pi r squared. So big B equals, I need to find my radius. Okay, my radius is 14 divided by 2, which is 7. And again, make sure you show that. So pi times 7 squared. 7 squared is 49 pi. And I like to leave it in terms of pi. And then later on, I'll use my pi key. So I'm going to take that then. I'm going to bring it down here, 49 pi. The height of my figure is 10. So I'm going to go ahead and put in 10. The volume is 490 pi. And then if I end up using my calculator, I'm going to get 1,539.38 centimeters cubed. And I will tell you whether you need to use 3.14 or the pi key, but the directions that we had to start this off was using the pi key. All right, let's take a look at this final figure for today's notes. Again, what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my formula, V equals the area of the base times the height. The area of the base, if I take a look at this figure, my base is a triangular prism. Okay, so that is 1/2 little b times h, the base times the height. Big B is 1/2 times the base is 2.8, so they made it easy for us. The height is 1.6. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, run it through my calculator. I get 2.24. I'm going to come over to my volume formula, 2.24. I'm going to multiply that by the height of my figure, which is 4.2. So the volume of this figure is 9.41 centimeters cubed. Again, really important when you do these, that when I talk about the big B, I'm talking about the area of the base. Okay, when I talk about the B over here, this would be the base, like meaning a dimension, and I'm finding the area of the base. So make sure that you use capital letters to denote that. All right, that's it for today. If you have any questions, please let me know.